and today I'm going to be building a desk for myself, and I want it to be kind of sawmill themed, I guess. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm using this old piece of sheet metal that I recovered from a construction site. We're going to clean this up. I'm going to stick my logo on there, and then we're going to cover it with epoxy, and this is going to be wrapped, used as the table or the desk top, and it's going to be wrapped around a frame, which I'm building out of reclaimed 2x4s. A little bit of a theme going here. And then the legs for this desk are going to be like a timber barn style construction with circular saw blades worked into the legs, kind of a trestle style, and then I'm going to try to work in blades from the sawmill, the band sawmill, in the tabletop. So we'll see. But anyway, this video is just going to be about the tabletop, building it. Then I'll have another video about finishing it with the epoxy, which I think is going to look totally badass. And then I'm going to have another video where I show you how to build the legs. So this is kind of like a little series here. Let's get to work. To get started on building the frame, I'm going to countersink all my holes. Just a good idea not to split the wood. Makes everything a lot stronger. My desk is going to be 30 inches deep by 60 inches wide, and it's going to be 3 inches thick. So that's why the boards are 2.5 inches thick, is because they're going to there's going to be a 1/2 inch of plywood on top. So it's going to bring it to a total of 3 inches. Boards themselves are about 1.25 inches thick. The good part about using reclaimed 2x4s as opposed to ones that are fresh out of the store is that these are bone dry, they're done warping, so I can machine the warp out of them, and they're straight as an arrow. So now here I'm just squaring off the table using the clamp, and then I put in my corner lateral supports just to hold it square. Yep, it's square. Alright, so I'm using the 90-degree corner of the sheet metal to measure off of, and I'm going to space it off of those two edges twice what I want my actual lip to be, because then I just trace it on the other side of the wood like you see me doing there. Now I'm just going to start cutting. I'm going to trace my line first with the grinder using a cutting blade, and then I'll go back and keep scoring it until it cuts all the way through. It's probably going to be easier to use a different kind of saw for this if you have one. This is what I have, so this is what I used. Alright, so now I'm going to center it on the sheet metal, get it as perfect as possible. And this time to trace it, instead of using a marker, I'm just going to skip ahead and just use the grinder. Just thought of that just now. I'll remove it, and then I'm going to score it. And I don't want to cut all the way through, I just want to score it so it folds easier. And then I'm going to cut the corners at a 45 degree from the corner of my score to the corner of the sheet metal so that I can fold it kind of like a package or a box or something. That's what we're going to be doing. Alright, and the bending begins. I don't know what kind of tools you would use to bend sheet metal. I certainly don't have any, so I'm using my arm and a hammer. Probably leaves room for imperfection, but you know what? A hand-forged steel tabletop is going to be pretty cool. So I think I'll forgive myself for any imperfections there. So the key here is to get a good crease. So I'm going to bend it all the way over and then pull it back up again to 90 degrees. And that's going to give it a nice sharp corner as opposed to kind of a rounded corner. And all this pounding is going to leave some dents and stuff too, so that's just going to add to the aesthetics of it. Alright, I guess the other handy tool they have is a big block of wood. As you can see, I kind of improved my technique from the first edge. Now here I'm on the 4th edge and I've gotten a little better at it. Alright, time to put the plywood onto the frame. Probably could have done this a lot sooner, but I want to make sure the frame stays square when I do this. And also that the plywood isn't bigger than the frame, because it won't fit then. And it should be a pretty snug fit. Which it was. Alright, so now to fold the lip underneath, I'm going to use this handy clamp here to hold the sheet metal to the wood as I bend over the edge. And at first I was worried that this wouldn't be enough to hold it in place, but it turned out to be pretty sufficient. So now to do the corners, kind of the same deal. I just want to make sure that the metal is pressed up against the wood as I bend the metal over. It's going to help not only get a good, nice corner on it, but also it's going to help bend it in the right spot too. Now you see there's holes along the edge of that sheet metal. That was there when I got the metal from the salvage. So I'm going to use those holes to drive nails, and I think the nails not only look cool, but they're going to hold the sheet metal in place to the wood. And then they're 3-inch nails, so I just bend them over on the inside of the table. That's further locking them into place. And then I'm going to pre-drill my own holes where I want additional nails just to hold like the corners together. And then on the other side of the table where I had cut the sheet metal, there aren't any holes. I cut the holes off. So I'm going to drill my new holes and drive nails there too. Alright, so now we're just going to get the table cleaned up. They had this piece of sheet metal glued to some pegboard actually, which was attached to some kind of frame. They're using it as a door, I think a temporary door. So anyway, I need to get all that glue off, and I'm going to clean off the rust, and then I'm going to re-rust it later so that it's a little bit more consistent. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Pretty happy with it so far. Well, the table's done, sort of. It's constructed. Just need to finish it. So what I'm going to do to finish it is I'm going to put a mix on it that'll rust it, so I can get my rust color back. And then I'm not going to do that to the saw blades though. So after I rustify it, then I'm going to nail down the saw blades, and I'm going to put my logo on here and the Carlos State Forest logo on here and something else. And then we'll put the epoxy finish on it. So that'll be in the next video. Click on this link up here to go check that out. The other thing I still have to do is build the legs. So if you want to see a video about building the legs, that'll be up here. Alright guys, well thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. The Log Furniture How-To, the most all-inclusive site on the net for log and rustic furniture, fixtures, and decor. That's logfurniturehow2.com.